My last impression of Taquilla, I'm going to say, Taquilla, run to the therapist. Run. Every week, Taquilla, not once a month, every week. Do you got health benefits, Taquilla? Does mental health come part of your health insurance package with your job? If so, use every bit of it. Because your rage in the inside of you is too much. Your rage is overwhelming. Your rage is dangerous. And your rage is scary. It's scary. I'm concerned for you, Taquilla. I'm past the point of it being entertaining, interesting, any of that, Taquilla. All of that has turned to concern for you. And if I were a close member, family member of yours, a good friend, a sister, I would pull you aside and say, I don't want to talk about the incidences. I don't want to talk about what other people did. I don't want to talk about what other people said, because at this point in time, that doesn't matter anymore. What matters is your behavior. What matters is your lack of control. What matters is your inability to hold off that rage that you have. And let me tell you, I don't care what Janelle said to you, what Janelle did to you, what Sierra said, what Jessica might have said or done. None of it, not 1 ounce of it, Taquilla, warrants the way you've acted on this show. Not 1 ounce. Not 1 ounce, girl. You've got to go find out what this rage is really about. Because if you don't go and find out what it's really all about, this little scenario that you have here is just going to keep repeating itself. It's going to repeat itself with other women, with other men. It's going to repeat itself on jobs. It's going to repeat itself in every aspect of your life. You've got to go find out what it is. More than likely, you need some help to do that. You need a therapist. You need a good one. And you're going to need one that's going to challenge you, because, Taquilla, you're a strong woman. And you got a strong mind, and you got a stubborn mind. And you're going to need a therapist who's not going to give up on the first try. Because I imagine she's going to have to knock on your door a lot of times before you get it. You're like one of them wild stallions out in the yard who's never been ridden, who's not tamed. And you can't just get on that horse. You're going to have to work with that horse over a period of time to get on that horse. You're going to have to learn how to trust your therapist so that you can really open up and tell her what's really on the inside. Because when you first walk into that therapist's office, you ain't going to tell her the truth. No, because that scared little girl, that scared little part that's in the inside of you is not going to want to open up to that therapist. That therapist is going to have to gain your trust. And that may take months. The first couple of months of therapy with you, Taquilla, may not even be talking about your problems. It may just be talking about you, period. Just getting to know you, gaining your trust, so that eventually that therapist can really peek in on the inside of what's going on. And I imagine, Taquilla, it's a lot going on inside. It's a lot going on. But it's going to take some time. And you better start sooner than later. You 30-something years old. And if you want a healthy relationship before you turn 70, you turn 40, you need to get started now. And I don't care if you told me you've had therapy and this is where you are since you had therapy. Get another therapist. Get another one. If you're not making progress sooner, faster, go get another therapist. Go get another therapist. But I'm going to tell you right now, you need to stop fighting people out in the street. This is dangerous. This is absolutely dangerous, because although I think you could fight, although I think you could beat up a couple of people, I know you could beat me up. I know you could beat me up. There's somebody out there, Taquilla, that can beat you up. There is. There's somebody that's going to challenge you one day that can beat you up. And it might be a man. It might be anybody. And you don't want to meet that person, Taquilla. You don't want to meet them. Go get some help, Taquilla. I don't like to see this going on. I don't like to see on screen what I see actually does need some mental health counseling. I'm not saying you crazy. What I'm saying, though, is you got crazy behavior. And that crazy behavior is being fed and encouraged by something down on the inside. You got to go talk to somebody. You got to go talk to somebody. And it ain't good enough to just sit around and talk to your friends. Absolutely not. You need a trained professional who's going to help you through this. Red, he's actually combative. Red is combative. Red likes to banter. He likes to argue back and forth. You know what? I really don't want. I'm almost running out of time. I know I've been talking for so long, but let me tell you, Red, he likes to argue a lot. Even in that little exchange with Eunik, I had my words for Eunik, but I kind of got the same words for Red. He should have been able. He should have been able to leave that alone too. Was it foul? What Eunik said that he got a thought job? Yeah, it was foul. But he doesn't know how to walk away. He's even got out here getting T-shirts with the name on it. Red is messy. Red is very, very messy. He likes to be messy. Even when he was sitting over there trying to poke at Quentin, because what he realized about Quentin is Quentin ain't got no spine. When any man tries to steal your woman or right in front of your face, that means he don't respect you. And Red has no respect for Quentin. Whether or not Quentin's relationship with Janelle is real or not, that showed a lack of respect. And Red has a problem with respecting people, period. That's what I think. I think he thinks he's superior. I think he has a superiority complex. And I think he's disrespectful. So just as much as I thought Eunik handled the situation wrong with Red, I think Red was also, in a lot of ways, a disrespectful with Eunik as well. And I see Red also disrespecting Quentin as well. And Janelle actually should have checked Red. When Janelle is sitting there all hugged up with Quentin, but Red is over there shooting his shot at Janelle. She's so thirsty for the compliment, she doesn't even realize how that looks, not shutting a Red down when she's sitting there hugged up with Quentin. My husband would be livid. My husband would be livid if I was up underneath his arm. A man was blatantly disrespecting him, flirting with him, but every time that man complimented me, I'm over there smiling, sucking up all the compliments. Sucking up all the compliments. That just showed me how Janelle's so thirsty for compliments. Red is disrespectful and Quentin is weak. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Red needs to check himself because that's not attractive. Because one thing you know as a woman, if you can see a man outwardly disrespecting other people out here, then you know that eventually that disrespect is going to come back on you. And maybe that's what Eunik knew about Red. Maybe that's the word out in the street, is that he's disrespectful to women or other people. And I believe it. I believe it. Red needs to go and learn how to respect the people a little bit more. Maybe he thinks it's funny. Maybe he's one of them type of comedians that thinks disrespect is funny, but everybody doesn't find it funny. The jokes aren't funny. Another person who's unhealed, is a lot of them, is Eunik. Eunik, go get some help, girl. Go get some help. You were triggered this season. You were triggered by Red. He triggered you because that's not a normal reaction. Even if you heard that a man was a bad father, that's not the way you treat him. Your response was outsized to the situation. Hear me again. A lot of people want to just talk about, well, I did this because of that. I did this because of what was done wrong before me. Got it. Got it. But what I look at is just not your response, just not what the other person did wrong. I look at it and say, was your response in equal proportion to what was done? And when I know it's not in equal proportion, more than likely, I look at it as the person who has the outsized reaction is taking this opportunity to use this reason to get out other rage in them or to get out other things in them. And that's what happened with Eunik. Eunik was triggered by Red. I don't know exactly what triggered Eunik. Maybe it was a story of him not being a good father. And I'm not saying Red isn't one, but maybe that was the story. Maybe Eunik is dealing with a bad father. Maybe the story that Eunik heard about Red reminded her of her relationship with her ex-husband or someone in her past. And what happened was all the things she wanted to say to that ex, and she didn't get a chance to say it. She wanted to say it, or that ex didn't allow it to be said. She decided she was going to say it to Red. She decided that in those past relationships, I didn't stand up. I didn't speak. I didn't talk. I didn't fight the way I should have fought. I didn't do the things I should have done. And now what I'm saying to myself is I'm not going to allow myself for that to happen again to me. So then a red comes along, triggers you, and now you decide I'm going to handle red the way I think I should have handled my ex. The problem is, Eunik, is red ain't your ex. He may have the same problem as your ex, hear me out, but he's not your ex. That's not your job. That's not your job. Your job isn't to go around and correct the reds of the world and tell red he's got a thought job and who he is. That's not your job. There's a lot of people out here that got problems, but it's not our jobs to continually go out and confront them. It is not our job to continually meet people in the streets, see things that might be wrong with them, but to continually confront them on their issues. No, because if you continually do that, guess what that makes you? Combative. One of the words of the season, combative. Marvin, I ain't got no advice for you. Do what you're doing, man. You seem like you winning out here in these streets. You seem like the type of person when you came on the show, you knew who you are. You stuck to it. You said, let me find a woman who fits who I am. It sounds like you doing it. So actually, Marvin, I don't have no advice for you. I can just say, keep doing what you're doing. Because honestly, what you do in that bedroom does not affect anybody else. Not one bit. I don't feel like you out here doing no harm to anyone. Just because you like your little kinky sex or whatever else you do, you're not harming anybody else out here in the world. It is a harmless fetish. So as long as you and your girl love it, as long as you and your girl like it, I love it. I keep doing what you're doing. Keyra, my advice to you, Keyra, is to get some more black friends. I know you said most of your friends are white. You know, you travel around the Dallas Cowboy. Get some more black friends so that you can have a healthier viewpoint of the black community. A healthier viewpoint of the black community. I think your viewpoint of the black community is narrow in scope. It is narrow, Keyra. It is narrow. It doesn't mean that some of the things you know may not be true, but your scope of the black community is too narrow. And I think that's because you might not have had enough involvement in it. I know you got some black cousins, Keyra. That's not enough to have black cousins. You need to really join some black organizations where you can be around more black people that are on the level you want to be on, your social economic level, whatever else the case may be. Because I think Keyra is a bit damaged by being in the white world and seeing a black man only date white women. That's what I think. I think she's damaged from it. I think she's been around a lot of football players with the Dallas Cowboys, and she's seen all these black football players choose white women. And I think when she saw Quentin, who played football, she got triggered. When she said, you look like the type of guy that dates white women, it was because Quentin was the big buffed ex-football player. And from the world that Keyra comes from, those men date white women. Keyra, in the football world, you might see a larger percent of black men date non-black women. You might see it in the football world. In that narrow world of football players, athletes, you might see a higher percentage of black men date white women or outside the black race. But Keyra, in the larger world, I don't know, 80% of black men date and marry black women. You need to get in touch with the larger world. Right now, you're defining black men by the 20%. Don't concentrate on that, Keyra. Don't concentrate on that. That's what the world would have a lot of black women out here do, is to concentrate on the 20% of black men that date white women, Latino women, or outside their race, and not realize that there's still a big old pie out here, 80%, that love black women and want to date black women. That's where black women need to focus. That's where they need to focus, because 80% is the bigger pie. 80% is the bigger pie. And I think right now, Keyra's viewpoint is overwhelmingly slotted towards the 20%. That's her viewpoint. She needs to broaden her viewpoint. And that's going to be my suggestion for Keyra. She needs to educate herself. Right now, in a lot of ways, Keyra sounds ignorant because her viewpoint is based on the 20%. So she sounds ignorant. She really does. I think she's a nice girl. She just sounds ignorant. She needs to broaden her perspective. And the only one that can broaden her perspective is herself. It is actually her responsibility. It's her responsibility. And in fact, maybe a person that could help her is Marie. Since Marie says he's so entrenched in the black community, he's so entrenched in these groups of black people, maybe Marie ought to actually extend a hand. Instead of ostracizing Keyra and telling Keyra she doesn't belong in his world, she doesn't belong around the people he hangs around, maybe Marie ought to invite her to something. Maybe Marie ought to extend a hand and say, Keyra, I want to invite you to this black event that's going to be full of black socialites, black people, upper class, black wealth, something, Marie. Marie, if you really hanging around in these groups like you say you do, instead of ostracizing the Keyras of the world, extend a helping hand. Extend an invitation. But even if the Maries of the world don't do it, Keyra, it's your responsibility to do it. It is your responsibility to go out into the world and seek the education that you don't have. And right now, you sound ignorant, so you need to educate yourself. That's my advice to Keyra. Leanne, I'm going to get to Leanne. Leanne, girl, you came on this show all wrong. I know you are 50 years old and you think 50 is the new 30. It's not. I'm not talking about the way you look. I'm talking about the fact that 50 is not the new 30. And I wish people would stop using these terms. Because when you walk around saying 50 is the new 30 or the 40, it makes you think you got a lot of time and you don't. You actually don't. You don't. Leanne, if you want to live the rest of your life with a companion, whether that's just a companion or a husband, I don't know, then you need to get serious about the way you date. And you need to get away from looking for something that maybe that time is past. Right now, your focus should be not to live the rest of your life by yourself, to find you a companion that likes to do the things you want to do, who you could travel with, who you could have fun with. That man may not be able to pay all your bills, Leanne. He may not be able to, because I'm going to tell you, men at 50 years old and older, they're not looking to spend all the money they've saved in their 401ks, in their pensions or whatever else. They're not looking to spend it on you. They're not. Listen, I'm older than you, and I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't be spending all my hard-earned savings on no new man, no new woman coming in my life if I were a man or a woman. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because they don't have no time for recovery. If your relationship with them goes bad, they don't have time to recover. They don't. They'll be out here in retirement with no income, and they're not going to spend it all on you. Find a man that owns a house. I'm going to give you some real practical advice. Find a man that already owns a house, who has good income to take care of himself and can take you out. And you can move into the house with him, and whatever money you've been paying on your own mortgage, whatever money you've been paying on your own rent, now you can use that money to go on some fabulous vacations. If you've been spending $3,000 or $4,000 a month on a mortgage or a rent, move in with him, marry him, I don't know, shack up, do whatever you want to do. And now guess what? $3,000 a month pays for some really nice vacations, Leanne. Leanne, you're looking for the wrong thing. You're a 50-year-old woman looking for a man the way a 20 or 30-year-old woman looks for a man. And you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. It's okay to be 50. It's okay to be 50. We do not have to keep pretending like we are 40 and 30 years old. There is enough good in being 50 that we don't have to stay in a delusional mindset that we're younger. That's a trick. That's a trick of society to make 50-year-old women think they have to be 40 to still be worth something. That's not true. It's not true. I don't have to be 40 to be worth something. I don't have to be 30 to be worth something. I'm worth something no matter what age I am. There's value in me no matter what age I am. But what I have to do is I've got to find a man that values me at my age. And 50-year-old women need to stop trying to be 40 years old so that they can become valuable to 40-year-old men or even 50-year-old men. We know 50-year-old men want 40-year-old women. So maybe at 50, you're going to have a man at 60. Maybe you will, or 55. What difference does it make? Be happy. Go travel. Go to Europe. Go to Paris. Fly first class. Eat in fancy restaurants. What difference does it make? We 50-something years old. Start enjoying your life, Leanne. Stop looking back. Stop trying to turn the clock back. Live in the moment where you are and start looking forward. When you're so busy trying to turn the clock back, you're looking back. You're trying to chase something that's gone. No, look forward. Look forward. Stop looking in the rearview mirror how you looked when you were 40, how you looked when you were 30. No, look at yourself in that mirror and say, damn, I look good. And keep it moving, Leanne. Keep it moving.